So guys, today the RX7 is getting a NASCAR wing. Stay tuned. We know we're shit. Yeah. Thanks for watching the Daily Drift. So welcome back. Today we're going to be working on the RX7 again, and we're doing a little bit of body work, but today it's going to be something a little bit special. Because if you guys noticed in the last video, I got a little something extra back here. I've been talking about putting this wing on the car, and just haven't gotten around to it, so we're doing that today. Because for some reason, people always get this confused with a Mustang. I don't know why, but I've always had people say, they're like, oh, is that a Fox body? I'm like, no, it's definitely not. Sometimes that gets confused, so we're gonna slap one of these wings on there, and we'll see how it comes out. It should be okay. It's not gonna be perfect because, you know, I mean, it's a drift car, so what do you expect? So before we can get the thing molded on there, I need to make sure that it fits properly because it's kind of all wavy and doesn't quite fit right, and there's a lot of little things that need to be done, so I'm gonna do some sanding and just general maintenance type stuff to it. We're gonna get it as close as we can, and then we're gonna use this special body filler to get it to basically mold to the car. So I'm gonna use this Bondo stuff. Now it's not like regular Bondo, this stuff has fiberglass in it. They have short strand, long strand, that kind of stuff, but I'm using that basically just because it's a little bit stronger, it's a little bit more reinforced, it'll help hold it there, but we're also gonna actually hold it there with like rivets or something like that. But this is just to make it a smooth transition, but also strong. Because we don't want it flying off on us when we're going down the road. I know that's a common thing. We've already had our hood fly off on us because we forgot to put hood pins on. At least this way I can't forget anything and it's just gonna work. So that's what we're gonna do. So the first step, let's just get to sanding, let's get this thing close. And yeah, we'll just go from there. Oh shit. Jesus Christ, that hurt. So the first thing that we gotta do is figure out how to get this thing on here right. You can see that it's not quite fitting properly. We've got gaps in here, we got gaps on this side. The whole thing's kinda trashed the way that it's set up right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get under here with some sandpaper and I'm gonna smooth all these edges out where it's kinda harsh. And we're gonna try to get it to flow into the body a little bit better. Now, it's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna work. So I'm gonna get to it. Pro tip, if you wanna make bodywork a little bit more interesting, try putting on some headphones with some music. Kinda helps, because this stuff can get really redundant. And one more thing that you probably can't hear right now is respirators. Fiberglass is no joke, and the last thing you wanna do is inhale this crap. So it's worth the $30, trust me. You don't want to end up with asthma or some other bull crap you can get from this shit. So yeah, don't forget your respirators. You know it's important if I'm using it, because I don't rarely use this shit. Sanding by hand is one thing. You can definitely feel all the edges and make sure you get it as smooth as you want. But it's not the most efficient way. So I used a power sander. That was until it broke on me. Yo, check out what this thing just did. Holy crap. This thing literally just split this in half and cut my dang, sander. Why couldn't I think of the word sander? It cut my sander. Like that's, yeah, this stuff's no joke, so be careful out there. I think I might have just screwed up my sander, so I have to figure something out with that, but I still got a lot more sanding to do, so back to the grinding board. Here we go again. Woo! We're gonna be here for a while. I'll be back in a second. This is really time consuming. There we go. Now that looks good. And this line is following up along here. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Is I want this line here to line up with this this wang. I sure hope you guys can hear me, but I don't want to take this thing off because there's fiberglass floating all around. So just gonna have to deal with it for now. Woo! Let's keep going. This has been something else, I'll tell you what. This is like, you gotta be careful because this stuff's sharp. It's fiberglass, but I've cut through my hands with these gloves a couple of times. Took off a good couple chunks of skin. But I think I got it pretty close. The main issue, These things suck. Okay, so the main issue with this thing that I'm running into right now is that I can't get it quite 100% where I want it. I've got it really, really close, and it looks okay. The big thing is there's not a lot of room here to make a good gap to blend it into this very well. So I'm trying to get this as level as I can, and as you can see, it's kind of out of shape, so I'm gonna have to like force it and try to get it just right. And then my next goal is to drill some holes for where we're gonna put the rivets, because rivets are what's gonna mechanically hold this on, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use like the body filler to cover up the rivet holes. So it'll be waterproof when we're done with it. It's just a matter of getting it on there. A little bit more fitting to do, and we should have this pretty close. A little nervous about drilling holes in here, but we'll get her done. So something else that I need to do is I need to get these taillights, third brake light, and this little keyhole here, because this keyhole's covered up currently. My idea is that I'm just going to take those out so that way I can know where to trace it, so I can cut a hole for it after we get everything mounted up. Because if I try cutting it and aligning it, it's going to be just a nightmare. I don't want to cut into it until it's where I want it to be. And I may not even put the third brake light back in because I don't really need it. It's not required because all these lights work. It's just a question of looks. Do I really want that third brake light poking out? This is kind of a style question, so I just have to kind of make a decision. But either way, I'm going to pop these lights out because I also don't want to ruin them when I'm painting the car. So I'm going to get to it. It's a lot of bolts. And hopefully I don't crack any of them. Knock on wood or metal, whatever. Alright, so I managed to get these things off. The only problem is this thing kind of broke. I think it was like barely even on there, but these little tabs here, they pretty much snapped, so you might be able to see it. Okay, so you might be able to see there, those little tabs snapped, so I might fix it, I might not. I think it's kind of like whatever at this point. It's going to be covered up by the wing. Now I just got to do some more sanding and fitting and then drilling holes, which I'm not looking forward to. So after destroying a few priceless artifacts, it was time to get back to the grindstone. Yep, more sanding. I really wish I had that power sander right now. So if you can't tell, it's getting really late. I've been sanding and grinding and getting this thing going, so it fits pretty decent. So now what I need to do is I'm going to try to drill a hole and see if we can get it in here. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to drill a hole in this. Then I'm going to line it up and make a mark and then drill through this. At least that's the idea. Yeah, it's probably not smart to put your hand that close to a drill and drill through it. Just saying, don't do what I do. I'm an idiot. Now we're going to use that hole to line up to find the next hole. Lots of holes on this thing. I need something to mark it. Back to the drawing board. Are you ready for the worst sound of your life? Yeah, and you thought nails on a chalkboard was bad. Seems to fit, so we're gonna see how it lines up. Okay. That's pretty close, I think. Just need to drill it out a little bit. When I can't find a hammer, I just grab the next best thing. That's pretty good, I think. So the thing is, I just can't rivet this on yet until I know for a fact the other side's gonna fit, but at least I know I got one hole that's lined up pretty good, because this thing's gonna have to flex to try to get it to fit. So I'm gonna have to do it like a little bit at a time. It's gonna be a hassle, but we'll get there. All right, so I just finished prepping this area a little bit. I'm gonna run some primer on it just to get rid of anything that's got rust. I just wanna make sure it's not gonna rust out before we mount anything else. And then I'm gonna let that dry before I move on to doing any more of the wing, because I just wanna eliminate any of this potential rust stuff. So we'll just do a quick coat. All right, that should be good. I just wanna make sure it wasn't gonna rust. It's nothing too special. So guys, it's the next day. Managed to get the wing put on. It's basically held on by 4 rivets. Thing is, I need to get a few more rivets. I just can't find any in my toolbox, so I'm probably going to have to make a run to the Home Depot or Lowe's, whatever I can find. But the good news is, at least it's on there. We managed to shape it. It was quite a pain in the butt to get it to fit just right, because it was just being a pain. It was all like warped out of shape, because I mean, we've had it for like a year and a half, 2 years now. Yeah, so it's been sitting for a while, and I think through the heat and the cold, it's just warped. So luckily I was able to get it on here without it cracking or breaking or anything like that. I did have like a corner spot where it did chip off a chunk, but it'll be okay. We're going to fill it with Bondo anyway, because we're going to smooth out all of the joints, because we're not going to leave it just like this with gaps. We want to make sure there's no water getting in there or anything. I'm going to start sanding this back down. We're going to try to get this to where it fits properly. And yeah, then we'll get ready for the fiberglass and Bondo. So yeah. Well, here we go again. More sanding. I got it about as close as it's gonna get. So now I'm just gonna clean it down real good and make sure we get rid of any dust. So let's do it. Whew, pretty good. So it's a little bit cold and it's a little bit too chilly to be messing with this stuff right now. So I'm gonna hopefully close the garage. We'll see if it warms up a little bit, but I can't be putting the Bondo on if it's too cold, because it's not going to adhere, or the fiberglass stuff. So we'll see if the weather wants to comply. Otherwise, I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow once it warms up. But, I mean, I'm pretty happy. We got the rivets on there. It's looking really good. Yeah, you can kind of see how it's going to look. Like, it's really smooth. It's fitting all the body lines really well. So I'm happy with it, but I want to make it to where it fits to where you can't tell that it wasn't a part of the car. So hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to finish that up, but it'll still be in this video. So see you now. Welcome back, guys. So I've been working on this. It's a little bit warmer out. You can see it's a bright new day. I did one coat already of the Bondo stuff, and it didn't quite go well last night. So I fixed all that, sanded it all back, and now we're gonna go and give it another shot with the glass, the fiberglass Bondo stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's basically, we're gonna do a little bit at a time. We're gonna try to get specifically this spot down here. So this little lip here, I got it as smooth as I could, but we're going to try to blend it so it just looks like one nice piece. Because we don't want it to be like this obvious that it's just been bolted on here. And then the same thing here, you can see where there's parts where it's splintered off and it's not quite there. But I've got it really, really close, so that way we won't need a lot of filler. And then here, obviously, these corners we want to smooth out a little bit better. So I've already scuffed everything up. It's all good to go. So now we're just going to go ahead and mix up the Bondo glass stuff and then lay it out. We're going to do a little bit at a time, because this stuff hardens up pretty quick, and we don't want it to harden before it's applied, and then it's not going to adhere properly. So I'm just going to do it in patches, do what I can until we get it a good coat down, and then we're going to have to sand that back and then go back and fill anything else with just regular Bondo. But yeah, it should be pretty good. So let's get started. We're going to take our Bondo glass stuff, which is just this stuff right here. We're just taking this stuff here. It's just fiberglass reinforced Bondo, basically. Nothing too crazy there. We're going to mix this with a little bit of the cream hardener. So it's all about getting the right ratio. So we're going to plop this down on here, and then I'm going to apply it as quickly as possible. So bear with me on this. Alright, so this stuff is very sloppy. It's very hard to control, and it's quite messy. So don't forget your gloves. So when it comes to mixing up the cream hardener, all I did was basically just make a strip, and that seemed to do all right. Then you just mix it up until it's all one color. I gotta hurry up and get it done, so I'm just gonna get this going before it gets hard. This stuff is extremely sloppy. It doesn't like going where you want it to, and for some reason I kept dropping it all over the car. Didn't matter what I did, it would end up on the car. Nice little blobs. Yep, there's another one. Yep, and another one. And another one. Yes, I know. Basically the DJ Khaled of fiberglass. But eventually I managed to get it on there. Basically, I got fed up with using that stick and I decided to just use my fingers. Yeah, I know it's not exactly the right way to do it, but hey, it worked. Man, I really went overboard with this stuff. And then, yes, you guessed it, more sanding. That's the one thing about this that's really frustrating, is just how much sanding it takes. And before I knew it, I was on to the second coat. Oh boy, was this fun. I'm not sure exactly why I decided to use a stirring stick as a spreader. I don't always make the best life choices. So eventually I got a legitimate spreader, but yeah, even that wasn't really working. This stuff is just not fun to work with when it comes to applying it. Especially when you're using a spreader that's already full of hardened fiberglass. So it is now officially day. I have no clue because I have been working on this thing day in and day out. So if you're wondering why there haven't been any uploads and why the uploads have been kind of slacking, it's because I've been busy working and this thing's taking me way longer than I expected. So number one, the wing just did not fit right. So I've been like just trying to make this thing fit, and it's looking really good. Like, I managed to do some more sanding, and there's only so much sanding I can show you in a video before it just gets completely boring. So I've been trying to just grind this out as much as I can, but I'll show you where we're at currently and what we have left to do. So currently, we've got it fairly smooth. I still need to smooth this out more. I need to get all this sand down. You can see how there's like a lip here. It's still pretty thick, so I need to sand that down further. But you can see where over here it's getting to be a smoother transition, and there's not as much, it's not as noticeable, especially from here. And especially when you go from back here, it looks even better. So the whole goal here is to make it a 20-footer anyway. It's not going to be perfect up close, but when you're 20 feet away, it's going to look really good. And I really like the way the spoiler looks. Like, it just has that old, like, I feel like I'm back in North Carolina type feel to it. Ooh, you know what? There's supposed to be an F-35 flying around today. I want to see if I can see it. You might be able to see it off in the distance. Wow. So we don't normally have those planes flying over. Normally it's just like the trainers and stuff, but there's an F-35 here today. I'm not sure what for, but those planes are really awesome. So if I get a chance to see them, I try to. But anyway, back to the build. I'm going to get back to sanding, getting this thing nice and flush. And then what I have to do is get Bondo, which is just to fill up some of the like little pinholes and like small spots, because this fiberglass filler always leaves like bigger gaps in it. It's not going to be as precise. So then we're going to go over with a very thin layer of Bondo just to fill that in, and then the glazing putty to finish it off. And then, yeah, and then that's basically it for the wing. Yeah, let's just, I'm just going to get to sanding. So, more sanding. Oh boy. Here we go.
See the light. I wanna 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 see
Alright, so we got this thing on here. It's feeling really good. I've got a nice transition here. You can still see there's little pits and cracks and little spots. So we're going to use just a little bit of Bondo just to kind of fill those cracks and smooth it out. And that's what we're going to do throughout this whole part at any of the points where there's joints. And we're just going to smooth it out as best we can, and then we'll have to come back and sand yet again. And then after that, it should be pretty much ready for paint. So, almost there. Almost there. Hopefully by the time I'm done, I'll still have some lungs, because it's pretty dusty in here. Wish me luck. Whew. I suck at this. God damn it, I'm dripping this shit everywhere. Fucking hey, this thing is a mess. Wow, this thing sucks. Oh my god, this thing is fucking terrible. Oi, what the fuck? I just want a spreader that's gonna spread properly, but this thing sucks. It's all fucked up. Fucking A, dude. Fuck it. We're just using our hands. This is not the right way to do this, but this is what we're doing. Ugh, this is so bad. This is not the proper way to do this at all. But we're gonna make it work because whatever. That's all we got at this point. God damn, this is bad. Oh fuck, my gloves ripped. Fuck. Fucking hell, dude. Well, that was completely terrible. Don't ever do that. Fucking A, I gotta get this shit off my hands. Shit burns. I gotta wash my hands. This shit is burning. Whew. Yeah, I put that on way too thick. Jesus Christ. That was loud. You hear that?
That's the second one.
That was loud.
I heard it one time, that's the second.
I've heard like 3 gunshots in the past probably 10 minutes. So, yeah, this is kind of interesting. I don't know what's going on, but something's going on out there. So if anything happens, yeah, we'll see. Well, everybody, we did it. We managed to get the wing on there. It only took me like 5 days and like hours and hours of sanding and tons of work, and my hands are pretty much raw, but we did it. We got the wing on there. It's molded, it's smooth, it looks good. There's some imperfections and things that probably could be better, but as far as I'm concerned, this is a drift car, and this thing looks a million times better than it did. I mean, this thing is just, it sets the car off. It looks so good. I can't get over it. I'm really in love with this wing, so for a drift car, I think it's pretty damn good. If this doesn't scream NASCAR, I don't know what does. This definitely doesn't look like a Mustang anymore. I mean, check it out. So in the next video, what I'm going to be doing is working on getting this car ready for paint and actually painting the car. That's my plan. They might be 2 separate videos, but you get the point. So it's actually getting painted. It's been a ton of work. I've been doing it on and off like every single day for the past week. It's been nuts. But I'm finally getting it to where it's pretty much ready to go. So I hope you guys are excited to see that. And if you are, be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. And just remember, keep it nice and easy.